Well, I heard it this morning, in fact, from Paul O'Connell on a bit of a newsreel that I'd seen. He said you don't have to be amazing to start, but you have to start to be amazing. And I think that actually is a very good piece of advice.
So the advice I would give is, like, okay, it's a brilliant thing to think even about starting a new business. And if you're thinking about starting a new business, don't limit yourself or don't get frightened about where it might go. Just start. You're one of very few people that are actually thinking about starting a business.
I'm minded of a gentleman called Stephen Denning, who talks about the stories that leaders tell. And Stephen shares a story on job creation in the US. Over a 25-year period of time, he carried out a longitudinal study that showed that all new net job creation came from a startup community and from high potential startup businesses. So it's great that Galway is not only a global capital for culture and a global capital for medical devices, but we want to be a global capital for startup businesses.
This is a critical event for Galway. When you look at our action plan for jobs that has been rolled out by Minister Bruton's department, it's about focusing on the regions, and an event like this today is giving startups out there an opportunity to network with potential investors, but also to highlight what they're doing. 2/3 of all jobs being created now are from startups in Ireland.
There's a lot of focus on FDI, and that's really important for Ireland, but it's really startups are actually creating the jobs in Ireland at the moment, and Enterprise Ireland is playing an important role in supporting and nurturing those and helping them to scale. And that's really one of the things that we want to do, is to see more multinational companies from Ireland being created and be developing on world markets.
The key thing that I have learned over my years is when you are going to a large multinational company who are really busy doing their day-to-day activity, you need to try and sell them something that they want. If they don't want it, you won't get past reception.
If we really want to compete against the other countries in Europe to be a startup nation, we really have to have excellent infrastructure. And Magnet want to support startups because we play a part in infrastructure. We deliver the fastest broadband in Ireland for businesses at 350 megs, and that's key for getting in those startups, for getting them to start in Ireland and stay in Ireland when they expand.
There's plenty of supports out there, and people, I think, often perhaps don't know them or don't know where to find them. But if you go to www.jobsactionplan.ie, you'll see a package there of over 80 supports that are possibly suited to your business.
Well, it's been a truly amazing week, astonishing, like well exceeded our expectations. Like, we've been out in 5 cities. We've met a huge number of the ecosystem around startups, the large corporate supporting, the universities, the state support agencies, the support from the government itself, and working with those, working towards a startup manifesto, and us contributing towards that and being at the centre. Again, answering questions for ourselves in terms of how we can contribute and support more. It's been a massive week for us.
Here we are in Galway, Bank of Ireland Workbench. We're here with a group of entrepreneurs who started new businesses thanks to the Startup Weekend. It's been a fantastic week. Tomorrow we head to Limerick for the Mega Dojo, 1,000 kids, next generation entrepreneurs.
In Galway we have 2 significant initiatives going on. One is our Workbench in Maingar Street branch, and the Workbench is really, we're very conscious that a lot of startups, it's a lonely world they live in, and if they're going to get their idea from the kitchen table to the investor boardroom and beyond, they really need to connect with other people and share their ideas and maybe some mentoring. So we've set up the Workbench in Galway where any startup can use it free of charge. An initiative we launched earlier this week is the Start Lab, just around the corner from here in 19 Eyre Square.
Start Lab is a 6-month program that helps tech startups scale up their business. So what we do is every month we have a different speaker that's in-house that helps ratchet up their business. It could be business model skills, presentations, funding, and it's a very unique offering that we've launched for the first time in Ireland. Our first Start Lab is in Galway.
So we just launched on Tuesday. The reaction has been huge. We've gotten in a number of applications which are on startlabhq.com. That closes on the 27th of November, and we'll be taking in our first cohort in January.
Typically we've been encouraging our staff to adopt an outreach approach and to start engaging with entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs, startups in spaces where they like to congregate and they like to meet.
Okay, so I got asked by Tracy Cove, Bank of Ireland, just to help out organising in the startup weekend in Galway. From that, I chatted to a couple of people who basically gave me the vote of confidence to make an idea I had become reality. And literally a few days later, I'm standing here telling you I'm a startup entrepreneur. So that's what it did for me. So
I always had a good chunk of self-belief, I think. You know, you've got to back yourself. That's number one. You've got to be resilient as hell, because there will be far more knockdowns than lifts up on the road. And you've got to just keep up, keep going, dust yourself down, have another crack at it. And if it doesn't succeed the first time round, you've still learnt a lot probably from that experience.
I think what the Startup Gathering offers those people is this is your family now. If you want to be an entrepreneur, this is your entrepreneurship family. So if your parents aren't entrepreneurs or your aunties and uncles aren't, that is no reason for you not to be an entrepreneur. You have this whole other eco-structure here around you that you can build a very strong, tight network with. You have your mentors, your big brothers, your big sisters. You have sources of funding. You have all sorts of expertise.
So there's been a number of events held. One of them that was interesting was the Curum Centre for Research into Medical Devices, and they had an event that was targeted at researchers. And the whole idea was to, I suppose, inspire people to become medical device entrepreneurs.
Well, I think it's very important to me at this stage to explore all the possibilities I can have in my career after the PhD, and I think this is a good opportunity.
Curum is a SFI funded research center. Curum has 35 academics and has 42 industry partners deeply engaged in creating solutions for chronic diseases. We have the funding to really work with exciting projects which are medium risk in nature, in other words 3 to 5 years. Projects which are very strategic in nature come to us, we will match our funding with them.
Here today we've had a session on getting business with local authorities or with state agents. That was this morning. Very practical workshop with people both from the local authority point of view and clients of mine who had actually succeeded at that.
Well, I've been in Galway for just about 3 weeks now, and I found the business community very friendly and very accessible. Most people have been very helpful introducing me to other people. I'd say my best advice is to just get out there and talk to as many people as possible and get integrated.
If they wanted to enter the Canadian market, I would tell them to work with their local BICs, make sure they're market ready, they're validated, that they're in the marketplace, and then work with CABI, work with our Canadian partnerships as we can help them integrate into the systems and open up offices. Access to funding, because we all know collaboration is one thing, but funding is much needed. Access to tax credits, incorporation of businesses. We're here to support the growth of Irish entrepreneurs in Canada.
My name is Eileen Forrester.
And my name is Brendan Sands.
And our company is Get Up and Go Publications Limited.
The company is Get Up and Go Publications, and we deal with the Get Up and Go Diary, the Irish Get Up and Go Diary, and the Get Up and Go Diary for teens and young people. It's inspirational and motivational in a book, in a diary format.
My dream at the start of the Startup Gathering Week was that it would be a real force for uniting communities behind their local startups, and it's wildly exceeded my hopes and expectations. At the end of the 5 days, we've had 410 events across the country. There's been huge enthusiasm about the startup agenda, and we've created conditions for a whole new wave of entrepreneurs to emerge in each of our cities, supported by the infrastructure of their cities, be it the research centres, the investors, the accountants, the lawyers, Bank of Ireland, and the whole community behind them. It's been fantastic. Now we move on to looking at what we can do in 2016 and build on the momentum that's been created by the Startup Gathering 2015.